Well, hi everyone, and thanks for joining. This will be our first trip for the 2025 backpacking season, and this one is the Cranberry Wilderness in Monongahela National Forest in West Virginia. It was our first time there, my first time there, and Trish's as well. I'd been to the Dolly Sods Wilderness multiple times over the years, but never checked out Cranberry, and I'm glad I did. It was a really beautiful place. Unlike a lot of wilderness areas, this place, I read ahead of time, does not get trail maintenance done at all, and you'll see in the video we found that to be absolutely true. The trails along the streams, closer to the trailhead, there's a lot of people that go in day hiking and fishing. Those are pretty well used. There can still be a lot of blowdown and things like that, but they're distinct, they're easy to follow. Once you get away from those sorts of things, it can be pretty tough route finding and pretty hard to find trails. Part of our route, you'll see just a short bit of that in the video and give you just some idea, but we had intended to go through some areas that were up on the ridge tops and things like that, and they are much less used trails than the ones down by the stream. So our first day's experience caused us to kind of rethink our plans and we adjusted accordingly, and in hindsight I'm really glad we did, because as I talk about in the video, those places we had planned to go, the trails are really almost invisible. So it wound up being a really good trip. West Virginia is a beautiful place to backpack. This was a great place. I'm really glad we went, and I hope you enjoy it. So again, this is the first one for 2025. I do have one other trip at least planned, and be going back with my friend Brian, who you saw last year from the Holy Cross trip. And so hopefully, if the weather works out and everything, we've got that planned. I'll be looking forward to seeing Brian again, and don't know what else we're going to do this year. I'd really like to get on one more, but time will tell. So at any rate, I hope you enjoy this. Thanks again for watching, and here we go. We'll go ahead and take a look at our map. And for this, I'm relying primarily on the Forest Service overlay, which is by far probably the best map that I've found for this area. There aren't really a lot of commercially available printed maps that show the wilderness area, and also you can get topo maps and use those, which is always good, but they're a little more cumbersome because of the scale. Can't fit them all necessarily together on one topo. So at any rate, Forest Service map, and our route is shown in the colored lines. I'll get into that here in just a second, but a little bit of background information is most people take a loop that starts from the east and begins at a trailhead on Route 50, or pardon me, 150 over here on the east side. That whole road was closed, and it would have been a real pain getting to the trailhead on that side, so I looked for alternates. I'll show you that. But the route that is most commonly taken by folks in here, I think, is whether they go clockwise or counterclockwise, is to get on this north-south trail and take it around a little bit on the Laurelly Branch trail, and then over to the Middle Fork Trail and back out. So that really was not an option due to the road being closed on the east side. So what we did up here is we started from a trailhead on the Williams River. Our original plan was to follow this route in blue on the first day, maybe up a little bit farther to about this area. And then day 2, we wanted to go farther along Beachy Trail and somewhere up the District Line Trail, and then the last day come out along the County Line Trail. Due to our experiences getting up on ridge tops here, we kind of changed our plans, and a little bit I talked about in the intro, but all of the County Line Trail and all of the District Line Trail are up on ridge tops, and these trails are not maintained in this wilderness. the only maintenance they get is really by people who come in and walk the trails. And so, that's where the trails are more distinct. That's where uh, they're a lot easier to follow. But up in this area, quite honestly, it was very hard to find the trail. It was a lot of route finding, um, very thick and brushy. You'll see just a very quick clip of us going through this area. I wish I had a little bit more. Um, but we were like, if it's like this up here, then I can't imagine what, 9 miles on the district line trail is going to be, and the county line trail. And it turned out to be a good choice because once we got out on the last morning, right up before the trail junction, there's a little, welcome to the wilderness area kiosk, which we didn't see when we went in the first day. And they're like, yeah, there was a notice on there about, these district line and county line trails being almost invisible. So it would have been miserable. So we thought long and hard after our first day about what we wanted to do and if we wanted to risk getting into this, again, not knowing that they indeed said, yeah, these are really hard to follow. So we decided to kind of have a little bit more fun and a less of a slog, and did what you'll see on the map. So back to what we actually did. First day is shown in the blue line, and that was about 8 miles, I think, total. And because it was so slow going up here, we really got slowed down with the route finding. Blowdowns are everywhere, but particularly up here, hard to find the trail. You could be within 10 yards of a trail intersection and not see it. So that kind of gives you some idea of what it was like. So it was a long day. We didn't get started on the trail till probably like 1 o'clock ish. And so we didn't end the day till about 7 or so, I think. So we were pretty tired, but it was fun. It was good. It was pretty. This is definitely a gorgeous area. We made it up along a spot. We just kind of dropped down to the Laurelly Branch, found a flat spot big enough to put the tent. And any of you guys that have hiked West Virginia know hills are steep. Flat spots are not that easy to come by, especially if you're not along a major waterway. And so we did find a place, had a good night, and the next day we decided, again, we're going to take it kind of easy. So the next 2 days were actually, like less than 3 miles of hiking. We took our time, just enjoyed it. The streams are absolutely gorgeous. Just, beautiful, rocky, trout-filled, really cool places. So day 2 was the orange line here, much shorter, pretty much all downstream, not much of a gradient. And then day 3, the same thing. So with that, we'll get into the video, and I hope you enjoy. Yes, you get to go first. Crossing the Williams River to start our hike. Good job, love. So apparently these trails are not maintained, and we've already crossed a lot of stuff like this, so we'll probably have a lot of this. This old mattress. This has got to be an old road bed. I just came across, Trish is about to. Hopefully some trout in these guys. Good job, baby. Good morning, it's day 2, Cranberry Wilderness. Just a quick shot of the camp area, which is not much to see. Right down by a really gorgeous stream, Laurelly Branch is the name, and then Chris is up there if you can kind of see her. Putting hairspray on. Anyway, yeah, so Cranberry Wilderness, first time here. They said they don't maintain the trails in here, and that's probably true. There is a lot of blowdown. There's a lot of places where the trail is, it almost disappears. So it took us probably 6-ish hours to go 8 miles yesterday. There's a lot of route finding in places. It really made slow going, but it is a beautiful area. So we're gonna just have a short day today, relax, and then a short hike out tomorrow. It's looking like a gorgeous day, and we'll show you some more later. Yet another Cranberry Wilderness stream crossing. Very pretty. This is Laurelly Branch. We're on the Laurelly Branch Trail. At some point this becomes Middle Branch. Looks like Chris is getting ready to go. Very pretty, very pretty. Trails are, they pretty much seem to follow, for the most part, old roads. But, man, a lot of blowdown, a lot of brushy stuff. It's not fast going. kind of shallower to your left, Boo. It was kind of shallower. I went a little farther to your left. It's a little shallower, but it's up to you. I don't know if that's helpful or just be quiet and mind my own business. Looks like maybe a campsite right across the way from us there. Probably. Nicely done. Oh. Alright, I might have to turn this off to negotiate this mess. This is kind of what we've been hitting. Bad example, or the worst example. Man, this is pretty. Day 3, our last camp. Getting it broken down. Quiet night. It's a pretty heavily used camp area at a main trail intersection. There's a lot of little fire rings and things around. Had it to ourselves though.
I ain't never been a holy roller, but I found God in your eyes. Greens and browns remind me of a mountainside. All the days that are to come and all the bad things that I've done. I ain't never been a holy roller, but I found God in your eyes. We can stop for gas on our last trip out of town. All these songs about nothing and straight-faced bluffing's got me down. 'cause old dogs bark way too loud and talk shit on the weekend crowd. I ain't ever been a holy roller, but I found God in your eyes. Coming down and coming up, there's a place for good love on the river's edge, darling. And I know home's not far from here. From sundown to sun up, there's a place for good rest in the warm arms, honey. I found God in your eyes, dear. You're grinning like a vandal after swigging on a handle of Tito's. Lord, I didn't plan this, I'm just going as far as the wind blows. Coastlines to the flatlands, get your rich hands out of our plans. I ain't never been a holy roller, but I found God in your eyes. Coming down and coming up, there's a place for good rest on the river's edge, darling. I know home's not far from here. From sundown to sun up, there's a place for good love in the warm arms, honey. And I found God in your eyes, dear. I ain't never been a holy roller, but I found God in your eyes. The greens and browns remind me of a mountainside. All the days that are to come and all the bad shit that I've done. I ain't never been a holy roller, but I found God in your eyes.